everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video we are making this ruffle art. I've always wanted to make one of these because I don't know why don't I make these and I always stick to clothes, but in this video I wanted to just make something really quick and simple. So this is what we're making for today's tutorial. I did use a bulky yarn, which is not the usual yarn people would use, but I love the colors on this yarn. I love the texture of it. I love the weight, so I wanted to use something different, and I just feel like it just makes so much sense, and I feel like it just gives the ruffles a very nice definition. I don't have to do too much just because the yarn itself is already bulky. I used a 5.5 for the entire 5mm, sorry. I used a 5mm for the entire project, and super simple. Let's get right into the video so I can show you guys how you can get this done. You can of course use a medium weight yarn or whatever yarn you have, but if you have a bulky yarn, I will highly suggest you just grab it and use it to make this art, because you're not going to regret it. But if you don't have a bulky yarn as well, you can still either double your string or just stick to a medium weight yarn or stick to whatever yarn that you have. But yeah, I love it. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye. So to get started, we're going to start with a magic ring, and to do that you're going to grab the tail of the yarn and you're going to lay this flat on your palm like this. Afterwards, you're going to grab the working end, which is still attached to your yarn, and you're going to wrap this around these two fingers. So you're basically going to go underneath and above, and I usually just use my thumb to hold this just so I have more control over it. And you also want to make sure you have enough yarn at the very tip. From here on, you're going to grab your crochet hook. I'm using a 5mm like I mentioned earlier. So after wrapping your yarn like this, you're going to use your crochet hook. In this case I'm using a 5mm, and I'm going to go underneath these two. So I'm going to go underneath this first one and then above the second one. So basically going under and above, and right after I have the yarn on the crochet hook, I'm going to just go ahead and use this hand and hold this part so I can have more control and just let go. And from here on, you're going to go ahead and chain 2, and you're going to insert 10 double crochet into this ring, but you're going to do one first so you can tighten the ring just so you have more control. So you can just use this and make the ring smaller. And now I'm just going to continue to do 9 more because I already did the first one. So I'm just going to do 9 more extra double crochets into the ring. After my total of 10 double crochet into the ring, I'm going to go ahead and draw the rest just so I can make the circle smaller. So I'm going to pull this and I'm going to draw the string, which automatically makes the ring smaller. You can go ahead and sew this end at the now, or you can do it at the end of the tutorial. So again, we are going to find this chain 2 we did at the beginning, and I'm going to slip stitch into that chain 2 to end of the row. And right there we have our first row complete. From here on, with for row 2 you're going to chain 2, and this is going to be a double crochet row. So you're going to go ahead and add 2 increase row, sorry. So you're going to go ahead and add 2 double crochet into every stitch across. So at the end of the row you should have a total of 20 double crochets. You can also count your stitches just to make sure you have this right amount, because you want to really stick to 20 double crochets at the end of row 2. And then we're just going to end of the row by slip stitching into the chain 2, because the chain 2 we just did at the beginning is just a starting chain and not a stitch. So right here I'm coming to the end of row 2. I'm going to go ahead and find the chain 2 we did at the beginning, which is these 2 stitch, and I'm going to slip stitch into that top chain to end of the row. So for row 3 we are going to chain 2 again, and right into this first stitch you're going to go with a double crochet, and into the second stitch you're going to go with 2 double crochets. Into the next stitch you're going to go with a double crochet, and into the next you're going to go with 2 double crochets. So for row 3 you're going to alternate between 1 double crochet and 2 double crochet in the next for the entire row. So that is what you're going to do for row 3. And for when you get to the end of the row, you're going to slip stitch into the chain 2 space, and then for row 4 you're going to chain 2 again at the very beginning. And this time around, instead of 1 double crochet and then 2 double crochet into the next, you're going to do 2 separate double crochet into the first 2 stitches, and into the 3rd stitch you're going to go ahead and do your increase row, which is 2 double crochet into that stitch. And that is honestly what you're going to repeat. I did, I think, a total of 5 rows. So to end of row 3, you're going to find the chain 2 you did at the beginning and slip stitch right into that chain 2. And started with row 4, you're going to go ahead and chain 2, and right into this first double crochet you're going to go with a double crochet. Again guys, at the end of row 4 you should have 40, just the same way as at the end of row 3 you were supposed to have a total of 30, which means we are going to do another increase for this row. So remember from the previous row 3, what we did was a double crochet into the first stitch and 2 double crochets into the next. So because we need an increase of 10 more stitch, we are going to do 2 double crochets into the first 2 stitches. After the chain 2, you're going to do 2 double crochets into the first 2 stitches, and into the 3rd you're going to go with 2 double crochets. So again, the extra double crochet we just did is what we are going to do all around, which is automatically going to give us 10 more extra stitch. So you're going to, again, after the double crochet, 2 double crochet, you're going to go ahead and do 2 more double crochets, but this time around 1 in the next 2 stitches, 1 each in the next 2 stitches, and into the next stitch after the 2 double crochets you're going to go with 2 double crochets all into that same stitch. And right after that you're going to do 1 double crochet into the next stitch, another 1 into the next, and right after these 2 separate double crochets you're going to go into the next double crochet with 2 double crochets all into that same stitch. And this is what you're going to repeat. You're going to alternate between these for the entire row. Guys, this is me at the end of row 4. I'm going to find the chain 2 at the very beginning and slip stitch into that chain 2, the very top chain, to end of the row. So you should have a total of 40 stitches in this row. For row 5, which is going to be my last row before we start the next part, we are going to chain 2 again. So remember, for row 3 we did a double crochet and then 2 double crochet into the next. For row 4 we did 2 double crochets into the first 2 stitches and an increase into the 3rd. For row 5 we are going to do 3 double crochets into the first 3 stitches and into the 4th stitches where we are going to do the increase. So again, this automatically gives you 10 more extra stitches because you're adding an extra double crochet into that first stitches before the increase. So I'm going to go ahead and do 3 double crochets, and into the 4th I'm going to go with my increase, which is 2 double crochets into that stitch. And from there you're going to again repeat 3 double crochets into the next 3 stitches, and into the 4th you're going to go with 2 double crochets into that same stitch. And this is what you're going to repeat. So at the end of row 5 you should have a total of 50 double crochet stitches around. And you can make this wide if you want to, but I think I'm going to stick to 5 rows, and I'll see you guys when I have that complete. Hey guys, so I just finished my 5th row. I'm just going to take a measurement so you guys can see what the dimension of this is. So it's actually 8 by 8. So now we're going to start working the sides, and for that I'm going to go ahead and chain 2 again, and into this first double crochet I'm just going to go with a double crochet, and I'm just going to repeat 1 double crochet all around until I get to the chain 2. So this is the non-increase row. We are not going to increase for this next few rows. You're just going to go ahead and insert 1 double crochet all around until you get to the chain 2 space. So you want to make sure you work your way up until that very last space. So now I'm going to find the chain 2 and slip stitch into that chain 2 to end of the row. And this is what I'm going to repeat for a few more rows. I don't know how many rows I'm going to do yet because I want to see how much of how many rows I'll need. So I'm just going to repeat that, chain 2 at the beginning and slip stitch into the chain 2 to end of the row. So I'm going to do that for I think for a few more rows, and then I'll come back and let you guys know how many rows I did so we can start working on the ruffles. So I did a total of, let me zoom out a bit, I did a total of 1 2 3 4 5 6 rows, and this is just the perfect for me. So you're going to just go ahead and do that, but I just did a total of 6. And now we are going to start working the ruffles for the hat. So I am just going to reattach this other yarn. I'll do that later. So from here on, I'm going to chain 2 again, and into this first double crochet I'm going to go with 3 double crochets. And into the next double crochet I'm going to go with 2 double crochets. Right after, into the next I'm going to go with 3 into the same space, by the way. And after the 3 double crochets in the next, I'm going to go with 2 double crochets. So you're going to alternate between 3 double crochets and 2 double crochets in each double crochet stitch until you get to the very end of the row. So I'm just going to repeat this all around, and I'll see you guys at the very end. Hey guys, so this is what we have now. We are going to just end off the row by slip stitching into that chain 2 that we did at the very beginning to end off the row. You're going to go into that top chain, and then you're going to slip stitch right there. From now on, we are going to, so if you don't want any more ruffles, you can stop the increasing and just repeat a double crochet row. But I want more, so I'm going to do 1 more row of increase, and then afterwards I'm just going to do an additional rows for just no increase. But again, I'm going to chain 2, and this time around, instead of alternating between 3 double crochets and 2 double crochets, we're just going to do 2 double crochets into every available stitch. So right into this first stitch I'm going to go with 2 double crochets, and just repeat 2 double crochets into every available stitch around. So I just finished the second ruffle rows, and this is what it looks like, which I think is so cute. So if you want more, then you can go ahead and do more, but I don't think I'm gonna do more. Again, I'm using a bulky yarn, so I feel like the bulky yarn definitely just gives it enough volume. So now I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys how we're going to end. I think I'm just gonna do 1 more row, and that's honestly it. But this is what it looks like so far. I love it. So to end off the last ruffle row, we are going to go ahead and slip stitch into the chain 2, just the same way we've been doing. And I'm just going to slip stitch right into that chain, and right for me I'm going to chain 2 again, and this time around I'm just going to go into every stitch with 1 double crochet. That's honestly my last row. So if you want to make, if you need more ruffles, you want more ruffles, then you can go ahead and do another row of increasing, which I'll just suggest you do the 2, or this time around maybe do like alternate between 2 double crochet and 1 double crochet if you don't want like super extra ruffles. But if you want extra, then you can still stick to the 2 double crochets into every stitch. So I'm just going to repeat 1 double crochet all around, and when I get to the chain 2, I'm going to slip stitch right into that chain 2 and sew in all my loose ends. And that's honestly what the tutorial is about. Super simple.